He stood at the gate with his hand frozen on the wood. She waited in silence, barefoot on the dust-covered ground. Neither spoke. Because one word could destroy a promise buried for 20 years. And sometimes, silence is louder than the truth. Backhand index pointing right before we begin. If you love emotional Western stories filled with mystery, regret, and second chances, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Western Storyverse. Your support keeps these stories alive. The gate creaked softly as the wind passed through it, a sound old enough to remember better days. Elias Crow stood there, his weathered hand resting on the rough wood, knuckles pale, heart heavier than the revolver at his side. Across the yard, she stood still. Clara. She didn't move. Didn't step forward. Didn't step back. She waited. The old farmhouse behind her leaned like a tired man, paint peeling, windows dark, roof sagging under years of abandonment. It was a place forgotten by time. Just like the promise Elias had once made. He had sworn he would come back. He never did. Elias adjusted his hat, shielding his eyes from the harsh afternoon sun. The years had carved deep lines into his face, lines earned through gunfights, long rides, and nights haunted by regret. But none of those scars hurt like this moment. Clara had been a child the last time he saw her. Now she stood before him as a young woman, her dress simple, her feet bare, her eyes holding questions she had carried since childhood. Why now? She finally asked. Her voice was calm. Too calm. Elias swallowed. I didn't know if you'd still be here. She let out a bitter breath. I didn't know if you were real. The silence stretched again, thick and painful. The land around them was dry, golden, lifeless, just like the years that had passed since the night everything fell apart. 20 years earlier, this land had been alive. Laughter had echoed from the porch. Lantern light had danced in the windows. And a promise had been spoken under a blood red. Sunset. I'll be back before winter, Elias had said, kneeling before a frightened little girl clutching a rag doll. No matter what happens, Clara. I'll always find my way back to you. Winter came. Elias didn't. The town whispered stories. Some said he died in a gunfight. Others claimed he turned outlaw. A few believed he simply ran. Clara grew up hearing them all. Each lie heard differently. I waited, Clara said quietly. Every winter. Every spring. I waited. Elias looked away, jaw tightening. I know. No, she replied, her voice sharpening. You don't. Her words struck harder than any bullet ever had. My mother died believing you'd come back, Clara continued. She kept the porch light on every night. Said you'd follow it home. Elias closed his eyes. That light had haunted him in dreams. I tried, he said. God knows I tried. She stepped closer now, stopping just short of the fence. Then why didn't you? The answer sat like a stone in his chest. Because I was afraid. Because I chose survival over truth. Because I didn't believe I deserved forgiveness. But he said none of that. Instead, he reached into his coat and pulled out something small, worn, familiar. A silver locket. Clara's breath caught. I kept it, Elias said. Every mile. Every year. Her hands trembled as she took it. Inside was a faded picture, her mother smiling, arm wrapped around a younger Elias. You had this, she whispered. And still stayed away? I thought you'd be better off without me. She laughed, not in joy, but disbelief. You don't get to decide that. The secret at the gate. Elias straightened, his voice low. I didn't just come to see you. Her eyes narrowed. I figured. There's something you need to know. The wind picked up, rattling the farmhouse boards as if the house itself listened. The night I left, it wasn't by choice. Clara stiffened. There were men, he continued. Dangerous ones. They wanted something your father left behind. Her heart pounded. My father died when I was 5. Elias nodded. And he died protecting a secret. She stepped back. You're lying. I wish I was. Elias looked past her, toward the dark windows, the land, the past. They're coming back, Clara. And they'll burn this place to the ground to get what they want. Fear flickered across her face for the first time. What do they want? Elias met her gaze. You. The word hung in the air like a gunshot. Me? The gate creaked again as Elias slowly pushed it open. Pack what you can, he said. We don't have much time. Clara didn't move. After 20 years, she said, voice shaking. You expect me to trust you now? Elias paused, pain etched deep into his face. I don't expect anything, he replied. I just won't run again. He returned too late. The promise was broken. But the danger had just begun. Clara packed in silence. Each item she touched carried a memory. Her mother's shawl, cracked plates, the floorboard where she once hid coins for a future that never came. Elias waited outside. For the first time in years, he stood guard. They rode at dusk, dust trailing behind the horse like a ghost of the past. Clara rode stiffly, trust fragile, questions unspoken. Who were those men, she finally asked. Former partners, Elias replied. Men who chose greed over loyalty. And my father? He chose you. Her grip tightened on the reins. They stopped at an old canyon hideout. Firelight revealed the truth Elias had buried. Your father hid something powerful, Elias said. Documents. Land rights. Enough to expose a railroad empire built on blood. Clara stared at him. So they killed him. Elias nodded. And they would have killed you. Tears welled in her eyes, not of weakness, but fury. All this time. I thought I was abandoned. You were protected, Elias said softly. Even if it cost me everything. Gunfire echoed through the canyon at dawn. The men came, just as Elias promised. What followed was not glory, but desperation. Bullets tore through stone. Horses screamed. The past demanded payment. Elias fought not as an outlaw, but as a man seeking redemption. Clara watched, then acted. She grabbed her father's hidden rifle. For the first time, she chose not fear, but courage. Together, they stood. When the smoke cleared, silence returned to the west. Elias collapsed, wounded but alive. Clara knelt beside him. You came back, she whispered. I told you, he smiled weakly. I always find my way home. They returned to the farmhouse. This time, together. The porch light burned again. Not as a signal for the lost, but as a symbol of forgiveness. Some promises break. Others wait. And a few survive even time itself. If this story touched your heart, like this video. Subscribe to Western Storyverse. Share this story with someone who believes in second chances.